A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to StudyIQ English. I welcome you to today's Hindu news analysis session with me. I am Soumya, and like every day here on our platform, we will be looking at exam relevant, UPSC relevant articles from the Hindu newspaper. And since today is 4th of October, so we will see which articles are crucial for us to understand from the Hindu New Delhi edition for today. Okay, so here I have picked up 7 articles for you, where the first 2 articles are exclusively about mains. Okay, these are quite relevant to the mains exam because these are lengthy articles, and both these are from page number 6, that's the editorial page. And before I start, a very good morning to my dear Subrat, Abhishek, Ritika, Sudesh, aspirant, and as all our daily session aspirants keep joining us, I will quickly give you an outlay of today's discussion. So today we have 7 articles, as I just told you. The first 2 articles are slightly more lengthy and complex because they are the editorial articles, page number 6, and we will look at them from the main perspective. Okay. Then you have other 5 articles which are basically quick newses globally as well as relevant to India, and these are more relevant for the prelims exam. So now let's begin looking at the first 2 articles. And yes, the first one is about page number 6 editorial, and it is discussing Operation Sindoor. What lessons did we learn from Operation Sindoor? And after the Operation Sindoor, that is May 2025, how India and Pakistan, both the countries, have started realizing that we cannot only expect that in the coming years war will happen through the navy, through the air, and through the land. That's not possible. The major area of war is going to be cyberspace, it is going to be security. Third, it is definitely going to be about maritime borders. So far, after 1971 war between India and Pakistan, when Bangladesh was created, of course, both the countries, India and Pakistan, have generally either conducted fights through air force deployment, or it has been through the military, to the ground level military soldiers. Hardly after 1971 have we seen a war that is totally based on navy or sea. But today, after Operation Sindoor, we have understood, especially since yesterday, our Defense Minister Shri Rajnath Singh gave a warning to Pakistan that any attempt of Pakistan of troubling India's border, especially around the Sir Creeks, which is a very thin estuary of water in the area of Kutch, and that continues to be a border dispute between India and Pakistan. So Mr. Rajnath Singh was very clear. He said, now if Pakistan wants to enter or dominate in the Sir Creek area, India will not sit quietly. So this article is just looking at that how both the countries are now trying to work upon its maritime strength, naval strength, because we have all understood from the experience of China, from the agenda of China, the 9-dash line, the string of pearl, China's monopoly in the South China Sea, in the Western Pacific area, in the Indian Ocean area, that if you know how to command the sea, then definitely you have an upper hand over your enemy. So that's exactly what this article is about. Talking about the UPSC syllabus, yes, it is GS paper 2, international relations, because we are referring to India-Pakistan relations. Talking about places in the news, yes, it touches upon the Sir Creek area. So that is also in the news and it is important. And third, yes, it is GS paper 3 also, because we are talking about the latest and the most sophisticated science and technology that is used in military, particularly in the navy operations of both the countries. Very good morning. Akhtar, Vikash, Sonu, Prakash, good morning, dear. Let's see what is the main argument here. So the article says after May 2025, Operation Sindoor happened. Operation Sindoor was done by India because of the Pahalgam attack in Jammu Kashmir. If our innocent tourists and innocent civilians will die, India will not sit quiet. So although across the globe, many countries blamed India for conducting Operation Sindoor, and Pakistan was also making a very emotional appeal that we were not involved in Operation Pahalgam, we have not done anything. This was conducted by terror outfits, and Pakistan doesn't support that. But in reality, India knows that a majority of these groups whether it's Jaish-e-Mohammed, all of these have been rooted in Pakistan. And although they are called as NSA, non-state actors, which means they are not associated with any government per se. But we know that Pakistan does give shelter to critical terrorist infrastructure. So India conducted Operation Sindhu. At that time, India destroyed all the military terror outfits of Pakistan. Fine. That is history now. But there is a lesson that we have learned from this history. In fact, not just India, Pakistan has also learned a lesson that now is the time to stop thinking about traditional war. Now is the time to focus on three new areas. One is cybersecurity, definitely. Another is most advanced drone technology. And the third is to upgrade our naval strength. Both the countries today realize that ultimately, if we want to win the war, then Navy has to be very, very strong. Yesterday, we again spoke about the theater level operations. If you remember, in yesterday's Hindu, I introduced you a word called theater level operations. Theater means a large area of land. Theater level operation means when army, navy, and air force, all three start fighting together to protect the country, to attack the enemy. This is the most new and the latest demand in warfare. India is also working on that. But today, Pakistan, India both have realized that until we work on acquiring new ships. Now, recently, I had also told you, yes, theater war, Abhishek, absolutely. Recently, I had also told you how India right now is busy investing in shipbuilding. Currently, if you see India's contribution to global shipbuilding, it is about less than 2%. India understands that majority of ships that we are using, both for defense and both for commercial use, mostly all of them are acquired from foreign companies. And that definitely causes a security threat in future. So now India is also focusing upon not only our blue economy policy, Mahasagar, Sagar Mala, but also we are trying to invest more in the shipbuilding technology. With that in mind, yes, both the countries have understood, India and Pakistan, that they need to acquire new ships. They need to upgrade existing ships and existing naval monitoring systems. Both have understood that the countries need to work across joint patrolling. Like India recently has decided to join countries like Thailand and Singapore, Indonesia, to start patrolling the Strait of Malacca. This was also in the news, so I do suspect that for UPSC 2026, this will be an important question, my dear. Strait of Malacca. You should know its location between the Indonesian and the Malayan Peninsula in the Southeast Asia. You should know that a majority of Chinese imports pass through the Strait of Malacca. It connects West Asia to South Asia. And India has recently started to patrol Strait of Malacca because India knows that it's very important to be present in the sea. With that in mind, India has also initiated the Great Nicobar project. If you remember, I have spoken about it before, that the Champagne communities, the Nicobari community were causing a lot of, you know, it was causing an anger among them. They were retaliating against the project, but Indian government feels it is important to have a big project like the Great Nicobar. Ultimately, we need to make our presence stronger in the Indo-Pacific region if we want to counterbalance China's monopoly. So yes, definitely India has now understood the value of joint patrolling of key straits and key islands around India. At the same time, both the countries have understood the value of forward deployment. Till now, Navy was used as a support force. But now the time has come, Navy needs to stand at the forefront of any war operation. And India, Pakistan know that if they want to win, they have to keep each other under pressure by building on their naval strength. Let's look at history. India, Pakistan have had many wars and conflicts in the past also. It all started back in 1965. Then there was a major war in 1971 during Indira Gandhi's tenure when Bangladesh was created as a separate country. Then in 1999, there was a major confrontation in Kargil, something that is very important to Indian history. And then, of course, in 2019, we also had the Balakot conflict. Until recently, In 2025, we experienced Operation Sindoor after the Pahalgam attack. So both the countries have had a very up and down relationship. Pakistan has been conflicting with India. But what is interesting is that in all these wars, except 1971, that was an exception here. Except 1971, in all these wars from 65 to 2019 to 2025, Navy was not majorly involved. It was majority a participation of either military or the Air Force. In 1971, it was an exception because Indian missiles at that time, during 1971, had attacked the Karachi harbor. It was very important for us to do that. We attacked Karachi harbor because that time Pakistan was trying to intrude through the Sir Creek's boundary. Hence, India had to attack its naval base at Karachi. That time onwards, Pakistan has become very cautious. Pakistan now understands whether it's Karachi port, whether it's Gwadar port. Pakistan is also slowly and steadily building its naval military strength. In a very big way, it's trying to do that. Because recently, Pakistan has been upgrading its navy under the agenda A2AD. You must have heard about this before, A2AD capability. That is something Pakistan is working towards. What is A2AD? It means area denial, anti-access area denial. Anti-access area denial. They do not let India come near, anywhere near its critical maritime infrastructure. So it means anti-access, anti-denial strategy. It's a very common naval strategy that's used by countries who command the sea. Especially China does that. And now Pakistan is also doing the same strategy. Hence, yesterday, it was our defense minister, Sri Rajnath Singh, who was very categorical about it, who said that now if Pakistan tries to enter or attack the Sir Creek, the thin estuary, which is located between India and Pakistan. Okay, that is a major boundary issue between both the countries. So Rajnath Singh ji has warned that if now Pakistan wants to penetrate or even come near the Sir Creek boundary, the repercussions for Pakistan will not be good. Because in 1965 war, Pakistan had done the same thing. And now if it repeats that mistake, India will change its geography and history. That's the major threat given by India's defense minister to Pakistan. Okay, in retaliation, even the head of the naval staff, Admiral Dinesh Tripathi, has said that so far, Navy was always playing a supportive role to Air Force and military, but now it is not like that. Navy will act as the first responder in case Pakistan tries to attack Sir Creek once again. Now, this is a welcome change in India's aggressive policy across the maritime sector. For the first time, we are seeing India standing up to protect not only its naval boundaries, but also being very aggressive about protecting and expanding its exclusive economic zone. You must have heard this word, very important for UPSC, under the United Nations Conventions, Law of the Sea. Every country enjoys a special independent right over its exclusive economic zone that spreads about 200 nautical miles from its coastal area. Today, India wants to expand that by making a claim over Sir Creek's territory. It is a very, very geostrategic sensitive point, but so does Pakistan. Therefore, the conflict is not solved yet. But for the first time, India's admiral has issued such a clear-cut statement against Pakistan. It means, yes, India is taking its maritime security very seriously now. For example, in the past, India has started doing line drills, sustained deployment. Recently, India acquired INS Nistar. It was in the news, if you remember, my dear. INS Nistar was acquired recently. It is the first indigenously designed diving support vessel. So remember, INS Nistar, first Indian designed, locally Indian built, because we are talking about Atmanirbharta now, self-reliance. So INS Nistar is India's first self-created, indigenously designed diving support vessel. Apart from that, India is also now conducting joint patrolling with Philippines, with Indonesia, with Singapore and Thailand in the South China Sea. Here, the main issue of contention is the Strait of Malacca. India wants more control near the Strait of Malacca. Very important point. At the same time, India now understands that not only does India want to expand its footprint in the Indian Ocean, but also in the South China region. We have to somehow make sure that we are sealed and secure. Apart from that, India also wants to counterbalance Pakistani influence in the Gwadar port and in the Karachi port. All of these are a part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Remember Belt and Road Initiative? So India wants to counterbalance that. India wants to protect itself from that. Not only India, many other South China countries are against it. It is clear-cut expansionist agenda of Chinese. Because if it tries to pass through POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, it is a matter of territorial insecurity for India. It is a matter of India's sovereignty. So India will never support the Belt and the Road Initiative of China, in which Pakistan is a key partner. So India has to counterbalance the area of Gwadar port and Karachi port as well. So India right now is busy with modernizing its ships, modernizing its naval technology, invest more in the shipbuilding region, try to do joint patrolling in the Indian Ocean region, whether it's Strait of Malacca, whether it's near the Andaman Sea. But another agenda should be to, alongside modernization, to repair and to upgrade the existing age-old infrastructure. What about Pakistan? Now, Pakistan is acting very smart. Recently, Pakistan shifted all its naval assets from Karachi to the Gwadar because Pakistan knows if it shifts everything to Gwadar, it will face more security. It will experience more security because of Chinese help. So it has evacuated the infrastructure at Karachi port, and everything is now being moved by China into the Gwadar port. Pakistan is also busy modernization. It is busy in modernizing its age-old fleet also. And similarly, Pakistan doesn't want that in 1971 India had attacked with missiles the Karachi port. Pakistan doesn't want that to happen again. Pakistan is quite aware that India is working on its military naval strength. So it has already evacuated the Karachi port. But today, Pakistan is also acquiring latest technology. For example, recently Pakistan acquired the very famous DNS Mangrove. Okay, DNS Mangrove. DNS Mangrove was acquired by Pakistan as it is a Hangor class submarine ship that is built with Chinese assistance. So here, Pakistan is majorly depending on help from China. Okay, so the latest DNS Mangrove Hangor class submarine that is built with Chinese support. Plus, Pakistan is also busy building the P282 ships. These are also about indigenously created ballistic missiles. So Pakistan is also busy upgrading its infrastructure. It is not just India, by the way. Plus, Pakistan also keeps on conducting operational drills, missile tests, where the interesting thing is Pakistan is conducting various naval experiments at a distance of barely 60 nautical miles from India. So you can now understand how sensitive has the Western Indian area become. The area of the Arabian Sea right now is very, very geopolitically sensitive. India is conducting its own operations and Pakistan is doing its own. And the gap between the two is barely 60 nautical miles. That is very less. Okay. So now, as India conducts its modernizations and drills, so does Pakistan. Similarly, Pakistan is also trying to grow its ship fleet with Chinese help, with Turkish Babar class corvettes. So this is again one upgradation that Pakistan has done. Because India and Pakistan know that Chinese support in the Gwadar area is supreme. So Pakistan will never want to lose Chinese support. It is busy with the support of China, building its own naval infrastructure. So what is the problem here? What can India do to make itself more secure? One thing is, let's understand naval operations are more difficult to coordinate as compared to airstrikes and land military operations. There is a lot of uncertainty and unsafety, lack of safety when it comes to the sea. Sea is unpredictable. Climate changes also impact the sea level, the safety at the sea. So today, India needs to have stronger systems, security safety systems when it comes to naval operations. Plus, in case in future another India and Pakistan war happens, if a conflict erupts, then India will have to decide on two things: whether Navy will continue to act as a support system, like it was doing earlier as the reserve force, or Navy today will come on the forefront, as Admiral Mr. Dinesh Tripathi has recently said, that whether Navy will act as a reserve force like it always has, or just like 1971 strikes at uh, Karachi port of Pakistan, will the Navy now act as a major first line of defense for India? So that is something India has to decide, and accordingly, investment and privatization needs to be thought of in the maritime sector. Now, because we have spoken about Sir Creeks, I would want to say for GS paper 3, science, technology, naval, maritime technology, and for GS paper 2, international relations, internal security, Sir Creek's boundary is very important for UPSC. This is the third time it has come in the news in last 2 months. So Sir Creek dispute between India Pakistan is very crucial to understand. Now please understand, Sir Creek is a boundary that India wants to be defined as per the Thalway Convention, Thalway Principle. What is the Thalway Principle? Very important for UPSC again. Thalway Principle is the international protocol of deciding boundaries between two countries if the boundary is a navigable boundary, if it is a water boundary, a river boundary, or an estuary. So whenever the boundary between two countries is about water, then it can be covered under the Thalway Principle. This will decide the exact strength, the exact measurement of the boundary area. So India wants Sir Creek dispute to be solved using the Thalway Principle, because India knows if we use the Thalway Principle, then India can claim over Sir Creek's dispute. And if India can claim over Sir Creek's dispute, the biggest benefit will be that India will experience an expansion in its exclusive economic zone in the Arabian Sea. But Pakistan doesn't want that. Pakistan says Sir Creek is a water boundary, but it is non-navigable. You cannot navigate through it. It's a very thin estuary, so you cannot navigate through it. And if it is non-navigable, then it should not be covered under the under the Thalway Principle, and Pakistan should have a boundary with India that runs along eastern bank. Therefore, this controversy has left the issue unresolved between both the nations. So do remember for the exam, Sir Creeks, the dispute itself, the area itself, plus also remember about the Thalway Principle. Thalway Principle of identifying boundaries between countries where water is involved. So India says it should be solved according to Thalway Principle because it is a water body, but Pakistan says it is non-navigable. So we should not use it under the Thalway Principle at all. So that's the dispute for the day. A very good morning there. There, Varsha, Eric, Lenny, Alok. Very good morning. Absolutely. Now it's the time. It's all about drone technology. It's about theater level operations and naval security. I so agree, Abhishek. Very good morning, somebody by the tag name of Liangumang. Okay, the question. Consider the following statements regarding Sir Creek region. 1. It lies at the boundary between Gujarat, India and Sindh, Pakistan, and it opens into the Arabian Sea. 2. The boundary dispute here is mainly about the interpretation of the Thalweg principle, as we just mentioned. Then, the region is strategically important because it influences the maritime boundary and exclusive economic zone claims. It's an easy question this time. So let's see who wants to answer the question. Today we don't have Dipesh and Saurav, but we do have Abhishek, Vikash, Varsha, Lenny, Sonu is there, Ritika is there, Subrat is there. So who wants to answer the question here? Anybody wants to answer the question? It is not a difficult question at all. Okay, Abhishek says the answer is D, and actually he is absolutely right when he says that. Well answered, dear. Abhishek, aspirant both. Well answered. Indeed, all three statements are correct. The first talks about the Sir Creek being a boundary between India Pakistan. It is. Yes, it overlaps with India's Gujarat, the Kutch area, and Pakistan's Sindh province also overlaps with that. Then, because it is a dispute about a water body, definitely it is about the Thalweg principle, and India wants that. But Pakistan doesn't want that because it's non-navigable. And 3, the region is important definitely because if we use the Thalweg principle, then India will get additional exclusive economic zone in the Arabian Sea. So all 3 are valid. Well done there, Vikash, Rajneesh, Akhtar, Lenny, Ritika, well answered. Absolutely valid question. Great job done, dear. Now, next article, once again, editorial page, page number 6. The clean rise, the clean energy rise, climate finance expansion. I would say it's an article that is not a new topic for you because every other day we talk about the GS paper 3, climate mitigation, global warming, international policies to control greenhouse gas emissions, carbon footprint. All these are regular topics, but this article has a slightly new point to make. Let me cover that for you. Okay, this article is talking about how, now there are some data points in this article, they are important. And for those who want to have access to the PDF of all these annotations that I am making, then here's an announcement for you, dear. Today we already have everything uploaded till 23rd September, and today we will complete the uploading of all the PDFs till 4th of October. So you can go to the description box of this video. There is a link about the Hindu. Type that. Go to StudyIQ English folder. You will find all the Hindu PDFs. But remember to remember this data that we are discussing here, because this data you will write in the mains answer. Very important. According to this article, India is today the third largest, let's remember, the third largest solar energy contributor in the world. So solar power contributor in the world, India is the third largest. After which countries? After China and the US. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing, India has recently added about 24.5 gigawatts of solar capacity in 2024 alone. That means we have added about 24.5 gigawatts of solar energy alone in 2024. That's a very important point to remember towards India's expanding agenda of renewable energy. Third, according to United Nations 2025 climate report, India along with Brazil and China are leaders. India plus China, let me write here, plus Brazil. These countries are now the leaders. Leaders in what? They are leaders in scaling solar and wind energy among other developing countries. So they are leaders in developing solar plus wind energy. So among other developing countries, these three countries are the leaders, and India is one such leader here. So renewable sector in India is also something that gives major employment to the people. So it is a major employment generator. What? What is a major employment generator? The solar energy, wind energy segment. So a major employment generator is India's renewable energy sector. Why is it a major employment generator? Because in 2023, it is the renewable energy which created about 1 million jobs for Indians, with off-grid solar alone providing for about 80,000 plus jobs in 2021. So let's take one quick data from here that in 2023, about 1 million jobs in India were created only because of solar and wind energy segment. India also is a leader at the International Solar Alliance. You may have heard about how in 2015, India had created the ISA at Gurugram. So Gurugram is the headquarter of the ISA. And what is ISA? It is an alliance of various sunshine countries. Countries that receive a good amount of sunshine, solar insolation, incoming power from the sunlight. All those countries are coming together to create the ISA. It is an idea pioneered by India. And it is headquartered in Gurugram. India leads that even today. India mobilizes many other countries towards zero carbon emission agenda. India did that as a part of its presidency at the G20 forum back in 2023. According to International Renewable Energy Agency, now there is an agency that we call as International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA. According to reports by this agency, if India continues with its target of reducing its carbon footprint by 45% of the GDP by 2030, and if India is ready to follow all the promises made at the Paris Agreement 2015, which say that let us reduce the global temperature rise to only 1.5 degrees Celsius extra, 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial level. That should be the level of carbon emission today under Paris Agreement. It should be 1.5 degree above the pre-industrialization era. So it should be very less. And India has already promised. Why? Because India wants to now reduce 45% of carbon emission by 2030. According to an estimation by IRENA, if India continues to invest in solar and wind energy in the same manner, then India will experience about 25, or let me put it this way, according to the reports by this agency, India will continue to experience 2.8% of annual increase in its GDP by 2050. So by 2050, our GDP annually will keep growing by 2.8% per year. If we invest in renewable energy, which is very good, because as compared to other countries of the group of 20, other G20 countries, this is quite a high amount. So we will achieve good growth. Why will we achieve good growth? Because if we invest in renewable energy, we are creating more jobs. We are also investing in green energy. That means we are saving the total energy that we use in general. So it is a win-win situation for us, and we will achieve a very good growth of about 2.8 to 3% per year, much higher than other G20 countries. But there is one problem in India. Finance is a major issue here. Who will finance so much green energy transition? It is an expensive thing to do. Now you look at solar energy itself or geothermal energy itself. Geothermal is the energy that is trapped under the Earth's surface, in the mantle, in the core, in the form of hot gas. But that's a very good way of producing clean energy. So if India continues to create solar energy, geothermal energy, nuclear energy, all that is going to be good for us. It will create jobs 100%. It will reduce carbon footprint, absolutely. It will reduce the cost of health crisis by reducing overall pollution. That is also very good. But who will finance this change? It is not easy to provide money for such an ambitious plan. According to India's finance ministry, we will require about $2.5 million by 2030 if we are to completely move towards green energy. And that is a very expensive investment in natural gas, in solar rooftop panels, in affording so much rare earth material, whether you import it, whether you mine it. It is expensive because if you talk of green hydrogen, that also needs electrolyzer. And to create electrolyzers, especially alkaline electrolyzers or PEM based electrolyzers, we need more money there. Third thing, if India continues to invest in the geothermal energy, then that also needs better equipment and much more investment. And also, yes, absolutely, order. I was thinking about you. I didn't see you yesterday, dear. Welcome. Absolutely, order. It needs private public partnership, the PPP model. We need to invite more and more foreign direct investment in the sector. Government alone cannot afford $2.5 billion by 2030, and that's the problem we are looking at. Okay, so now what is the solution that we have? See, if we want to produce more green hydrogen like China, if we want to completely change our transport towards clean energy based, if we want to completely change agriculture, irrigation towards clean energy, we need to expand. We need to really expand solar and wind energy. Only then can we say we have achieved our target. But the problem is, today, in this target, who will afford so much money? And how many private companies can we depend upon? That is another question. This kind of approach needs a heavy dependence on corporate houses, on companies. This is one problem. When you always give the power to corporate setups, they will probably not create equal public employment opportunities. They will only give employment to highly skilled people. Will that create jobs for majority of semi-skilled Indians? It won't. Second is environmental protocol. If private companies come in this domain and aggressively start creating solar batteries, green hydrogen, geothermal mining, will it not have environmental disastrous side effects? Who will ensure that? If we create too many do's and don'ts, private companies will not invest. If we continue to give them license and approval, it will lead to ecological devastation and a complete corporatization of India's energy segment. And who will be responsible for that? So therefore, 45 billion green bonds have been issued by Indian government. 45 billion green bonds. India has decided that by 2026, India will also create its own carbon market. This will be working in coordination with the global carbon market. That's the only solution India can see right now. But here also there is a problem. If we allow green credits, green bonds to be issued to people, to incentivize them to save energy, to incentivize them to shift towards green energy, it is possible that we achieve the target of 100 billion by 2030. But again, 84% of those who will buy these green bonds are going to be private companies. Public sector companies, individuals, startups cannot afford it. It is unaffordable for them. So, what to do now? Access to green carbon finance is not a democratic one, it's not meant for everybody. And carbon market is new also. So, we need to have more transparent rules and regulations when it comes to conducting the carbon market based operation. Is there a solution? The only solution is that India has to allocate more budget. We need to allocate much more budget money to, yes, for example, as Vikash says, yeah, like the germanium. Yes, absolutely. It can be used as a rare earth material to create the PV. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very good. Greenium, absolutely. Very well said. Order and Vikash. Very well said. Yes. So here we need much more transparency and regulation. So what is the solution? We have money in the form of pension funds. We have money in the form of insurance companies. Sovereign bonds are there. So we need to change and tune all this into the climate aligned portfolios. Let all these companies have climate goals. No matter even if it's a stock market exchange that works on market situation completely. But if we need to align that with green carbon bonds, with environmental protocols, then perhaps a transition will become only smoother. Very good morning, Anuj. It will become much more smoother for us. Ultimately, to have a transparent, well regulated, well controlled green carbon market by 2026 is very good for India because it matches with Sustainable Development Goal number 13 that talks about taking action to control climate change, and also SDG, Sustainable Development Goal number 7, that talks about a quicker transition towards green energy. And India needs both. So the only solution is to smartly, very smartly use private companies and corporates in it, but also involve government sectors like insurance, pension finance, education, and all these sources should be also linked to the carbon market in the long term. We can subsidize the carbon bonds for people who can't afford it, like startups, agribusiness, MSME sector. That's the only thing we can do. Because if you need carbon finance, it has to be sustainable and affordable by people. And we need it anyhow, because otherwise, how will we achieve the target of 45% reduction of GDP of carbon footprint by 2030? So these are certain questions here. All, in one line, if I was to summarize the article, India is a leader in renewable energy today. After China and US, India leads the world when it comes to largest solar energy contribution. Plus, India is also doing quite well when it comes to its agenda of 2030 reduction of carbon footprint by 45% GDP. India leads International Solar Alliance. In 2023, we created 1 million jobs in renewable energy. But still, there are some problems. Biggest problem, we are trying to move towards carbon bonds, green energy bonds. But that's unaffordable to most people like startups, MSME, agribusiness individuals. Second, there is a lack of transparency and proper regulation of the carbon market. Third, it is too much investment. So we have to 84% depend on private companies only. That may not create equality and so many jobs. So that's the conflict right now. We'll see how it develops. Yes, India comes third after US and China in solar power. Very well said, Anuj. Yes, and we are trying to now process green hydrogen. As of now, China leads the green hydrogen industry also. So now the question, with reference to India's clean energy transition, look at the following statements. Order has already answered. One, according to International Renewable Energy Agency, if India follows its target of reducing carbon emission to 1.5 degree Celsius above the pre-industrial level it could achieve an average annual growth of 2.8% by 2030, which is much higher than other average of the G20 countries in general. And second, green bonds constituted more than 80% of India's green social sustainability and sustainability linked debt insurance by December 24. And three, the Ministry of Finance has given a data that if India needs to transition completely towards green energy, we will need about 2.5 trillion dollars in the climate finance sector to meet our national targets. And which of these statements do you think are correct? So here, order, aspirant, Vikash, Ritika, Abhishek, everyone says it's D. It is absolutely D. Yes. I think some students are having some confusion and they say it's B. Why? Because they feel that the first statement is not correct. But my dear, the first statement is absolutely correct, because we saw this in the article that according to the agency IRENA, it is true that if we want to achieve our target of reducing carbon emission, then also we will continue to grow by 2.8% annually in GDP by 2050. And this is definitely more than other countries of G20. I told you the reason also. One, because we will create more jobs in renewable energy. That leads to GDP growth. Second, we will also reduce the total cost of energy. We will spend less energy. That is cost effective also. So therefore, we will be able to achieve a good GDP growth. So all three statements are valid there. If there's any doubt, please let me know. Next article is about Bihar and how in Bihar it is the Chief Minister Shri Nitish Kumar who has transferred rupees 2,500 crore in the bank accounts of 25 lakh women. Why? Because it is a part of direct benefit transfer scheme, Women Welfare Yojana, named as Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana. It was in the news last week also, because although it is a scheme financed by the state government, the scheme was inaugurated by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi last week in Bihar. Very good. It is a DBT, direct benefit transfer, which means the government directly transfers cash, money, liquidity in the account of the beneficiary. There are many other schemes who work like that on the DBT model. It is considered the very safe way of transferring welfare because it doesn't include any third party in between. The beneficiary will direct get benefit from the government. Now, as Shri Modi, our Prime Minister, Prime Minister Shri Modi had inaugurated the scheme last week also, it was believed that many women will now be able to start small scale business, self-help group activity, or any other kind of micro level enterprise with this much money, because it is providing every family an opportunity to start a business. So far, about 10,000 crore rupees have already been transferred in the accounts of 1 crore beneficiaries since the last few years. Ultimately, the purpose is to bring the economically weaker segment, especially women, at power with the rest of the society. Key members in this initiative are going to be self-help groups such as the Jivika Didis. They have also joined the program because with this money, they can also initiate a business. Okay, so ultimately it is about creating self-employment opportunity and entrepreneurship in women. So do remember the scheme. It is a direct benefit transfer scheme inaugurated by the Prime Minister but initiated at the state level. A part of Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana. Beneficiaries are 25 lakh women. The money is rupees 2,500 crore total. Okay, so the purpose is self-employment and business opportunities. So with this, let's proceed with the next article. And the next article is quite a disturbing one. If you remember last year, there were too many reports that came from countries in Africa, which said that after using a cough syrup that is manufactured by India, so many children lost their life because the cough syrup had a very serious contamination by two ingredients. One ingredient being the diethylene glycol, and the other ingredient was also the ethylene glycol. So both these were so contaminating that children who had these cough syrups either died or they experienced severe kidney injury. Both these ingredients are associated with renal injury, kidney injury, and many children had lost their lives. Today also something similar has happened in Tamil Nadu. It's a matter of extreme concern from the Indian government because it shows that our Drugs and Cosmetic Act is not enough to control and monitor the safety standards of commonly used medications. Because the medicine domain is once again in the news. Last year, as President Trump from America imposed 100% tariffs on pharmaceutical products, many people in India were worried that what will happen to Indian medicine exports to America. So that time we made it quite clear that it will not impact India because the 100% tariff is only on patented licensed drugs. But India is a leader of generic drugs. I have explained this concept clearly. If anybody is confused, I will repeat it for you. India leads in generic drugs. So the 100% tariff may not impact India very badly. But today, once again, India's medical standards are under review. There were recent deaths in Madhya Pradesh, 9 deaths. Rajasthan, 2 more deaths. Tamil Nadu, something similar happened. So the Union Health Ministry, once it did the investigation, said that the cough syrups are completely safe. So the central government's investigation has shown that there is nothing wrong in the cough syrup, which led to the death of children. They are saying these were not contaminated by diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol. Nothing was found. But when Tamil Nadu conducted a study based on a cough syrup called cold riff syrup, it was found to be below standard. It was definitely found to be adulterated with 2 of these toxic ingredients that lead to kidney failure. In the past, it has led to kidney injury. Both of them, the ethylene glycol and the diethylene glycol, it was found to be contaminated. Immediately, the state government passed an order and the producers were told to stop manufacturing the cough syrup. In Madhya Pradesh also, once the investigation was done, there was no such contamination found. But in Rajasthan, such cough syrups that were meant to be used by children for pediatric use were also linked to contamination of dextromethorphan. Once again, a toxic chemical. It was not supposed to be used for children, but it was being used for children's cough. Today, the government is experiencing a major shock and embarrassment, of course, because it shows that these medicines that are produced in few units are creating recurrent crises of health. In 2020, 12 deaths had happened with the same ingredient in Jammu. 2022, 70 children died in Gambia, in Africa, that were all related to Indian cough syrup. That was a major false of India. While the WHO says India is the pharmacy of the world, providing subsidized wide range vaccinations and medications of generic use to the global community, this is completely tainting India's image. As in Africa, 70 kids had died in 2022, just about 3 years before. What could be the problem? Weak enforcement of laws under Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940. It has to be upgraded immediately. Second, market surveillance is not done. User experience is not done. Randomly, people are asked for review. Randomly, people are tested for it. In the drug trials, there is random testing being done. There is no systematic testing across age groups, gender, people with comorbidities. That's not done. Drug regulations between center and state. It is a matter of joint legislation. Both the center and the states can share legislation on drug control and regulation. But in India, there is an overlap here. As center says that this cough syrup is completely clean, yet there is a proof in Tamil Nadu that it was contaminated. It shows a lack of coordinated policy between center and the states. That could lead to major problem if these products are exported outside. Then, definitely when it comes to export sector, because India leads the world in generic drug manufacturing, we need more pharmacovigilance, more regulation and monitoring of drug manufacturing and processing. The government says, why are doctors recommending cough syrups for children? They are not needed. Coughs can be cured. It could be a chronic problem and still nothing dangerous. Why are families giving medicines to children without medical approval? Why are people going for self-medication, especially for children who are below 2? So should we not involve more gram panchayats, more Anganwadi and Asha workers and more A&M, auxiliary nurse midwives, in creating propaganda, awareness campaigns about the importance of not self-medicating, especially when it comes to young children below 5. These case studies need to be made public so that people think twice before taking a medicine without prescription for it. Ultimately, it's about lack of corporate responsibility by the drug company. It is about lack of quality control by the government. We have compromised on health and safety of children. Now, this quickly reminds me of GS paper 4, ethics. Have you seen the case studies in ethics, all of you? It's a very scoring exam, by the way, very scoring paper. Many children, many students are struggling with the case studies. So this topic here could make an excellent case study in the next year exam. Every year you have case studies taken from newspapers only. So they could again give you a case study that you are an investigation officer who is investigating in your district the case against a pharmaceutical company whose cough syrup has caused 70 deaths in Gambia. The government's investigations say the report is clean, but at the same time, within the state, the central investigation has given a clean chit, but the state level investigation shows toxicity. Now, what will you do as an officer here? So these are the common questions you get in case study. So please, while you read the news, also try to analyze it. As I always say, after every article that we do here, we solve a question. That's a good way of revising. At the same time, you also try to analyze from your side, what is the case about? What could be done in this situation? If you learn that mindset, it will help you very, very, profoundly in essay writing and in ethics paper. Because in ethics, all problems are like that. They are very relevant problems based on current issues. So please always try to make a perspective on that. That's my strong recommendation to everyone. Absolutely. To finance household women, adulterated, forfeited items order. Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. Psychotic Substances Act 1985, Vikash. Yes, absolutely, Eric. Self medication can help families, but poor families perhaps do not have the awareness about the dangers of self medication. This also reminds me of another crisis that is happening in India, in fact, across the world. Kerala brain eating amoeba, America, superbug, bacteria, AMR, antimicrobial resistance. That's a key issue now. It can come in the mains GS paper 3 or 2. For the ethics also it is important. Over medication and self medication are the root cause of many crises of health and environment in India right now. So have a perspective on this. Okay, have some idea on the topic. Apart from the data, also have some thought on the topic. Think about every topic you study. UPSC is about how critically can you think and give solutions. The more you have that mindset, the better marks you get. Question: with reference to the drug regulation in India, look at the following statements. 1. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization, the CDSCO, functions under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. 2. Both central and the state governments have joint powers, concurrent powers in regulating drug manufacturing and quality control. And 3. Diethylene glycol, contamination in syrups primarily causes neurological disorders. So which of these statements do you think are valid? First and the third statement are a little confusing. You can think about it. But this is a very important case study. What will you do if you were investigating a case like that? Always be prepared with that mindset, okay? GS paper 4 is scoring and the marks will definitely impact your rank. Okay. As you think about the question, let me proceed with the next article, quite important. Next article is a quick read again. We are almost done. Okay, the answers are coming. Let me go back. So Vikash says it's D, but aspirant says it's also D. But another student of mine is saying it's B. So, okay, let's break it down. See, 3 is not correct here. Why is 3 not correct? Because clearly you have read that diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol are toxic chemicals that create kidney failure, kidney injury. It has not proven to cause neurological disorders. It causes kidney failure and therefore death. So 3 is invalid. Now, if 3 is invalid, then naturally C and D will not be the answer. How can they be the answer? Now we are left with only 1 and 2. 2 is absolutely correct. Or is it not correct? 1. The CDSO works under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Yeah, so third statement is not correct. Absolutely. It leads to kidney failure. We don't know about neurological disorders. So now the trouble is between A and B. Okay, let's wait. Think about it. What's the hurry? Okay, Abhishek, if that's what you think. Okay, there is a lack of agreement here. Everybody has their own answer. So let's wait and watch. Let's keep the suspense on. We'll discuss it in the end. Is only the first statement correct or first two both are correct? We'll wait and watch. The next article is a quick one. We all know that President Trump has decided now to become the hero of the world. Can you imagine yesterday what he said? Has anybody seen the news? Nothing against anyone, but yesterday what has President Trump said? He said that if you do not give me Nobel Prize, then you will insult the aspirations of all the Americans. Can you imagine that statement? Have you ever heard of a statement like that before? I have not heard. He says if I am not given the Nobel Prize, then American dreams will be defeated. They will be humiliated. On that note, this news also says something related. So, President Trump has now become the only president from America who is actively trying to negotiate the crisis between Palestine and Israel. Because he is at the forefront of solution, he has already rolled out a 20-point peace program between Israel and Palestine. We have discussed the program already. The key points are that Hamas should go for disarmament, it should leave its arms behind, and therefore, if it does so, if it stops being terroristic, if it stops attacking Israel completely forever, then only will Israel recede from the West Gaza and slowly land will be given back to the Palestinians. Correct? But today, as Israel has agreed, many other Arabic countries have also agreed. India has also said, well done. But it is Hamas who says, I need time. Give me some time to negotiate. Give me some time to think about the offer. And today, President Trump has said, enough is enough. I will not give you more time now. So, if you are not able to take a decision in the upcoming 2 days, you have to take a decision anyhow by the coming Monday. If you fail to do that by Monday morning, that's exactly 2 days from now, then a disaster will happen in the area. It is almost like a threat coming from President Trump. So President Trump is saying it's the last chance I'm giving you. And why is he saying that? Because we know President Trump is the leader of the Peace Board. What is the Peace Board? The panel that has been created to solve the Israel-Gaza problem. And it is President Trump who, as the chairman of the Peace Board, has given the 20-point peace program. So it is saying now that if Hamas delays more, or if it doesn't accept the decision, then US will not support any peace. And then whatever happens will be seen by the whole world. It is almost like an open thread that has come. So now let's see what is happening as he is giving the last chance to the people of Gaza, Palestine. We don't know what will happen. The world is tuning in, and we will also see what happens and discuss it back on Monday, perhaps. Then the next article is about another development between Russia-Ukraine war. If you saw the news, by the way, yesterday Russia conducted its largest attack on Ukraine's gas pipelines. Already it has attacked Ukraine's nuclear infrastructure. You must have heard in the news about Zaporizhia plant. Already United Nations is saying the plant might be experiencing some nuclear leakage also. Because it has not been operational all these months, it needs to be investigated. The war is already on. There is no end to the war. But yesterday, Russia did a massive attack on Ukraine's gas reserves. Today, NATO has become one such group which is just prepared anytime and all the time. We already know there is an Article 5 in the NATO Act, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is about joint defense. If one country is under attack, it will initiate all the countries to come and support it. It is about jointly defending each other. Correct. Now, at this time, when all the NATO countries are worried about Russian actions, if you remember, like yesterday, Russia has attacked Ukraine's gas reserves. 2 days before, Russia was sending some drones to Denmark. Before that, to Romania. Before that, to Poland. So all the NATO countries, especially the eastern flank countries, the eastern boundaries countries, which share a very close geography with Belarus, a key ally of Russia, are very scared now. So now Poland has taken another decision. Poland says, I am ready to finally join the Alliance of Fuel Pipeline Network. The Alliance of Fuel Pipeline Network is a key alliance between various NATO countries. It is about operating a 10,000 kilometers network of European gas pipelines so that any country of the NATO, if it experiences an emergency war attack, if it experiences a deficiency, then through this 10,000 kilometer network pipeline, immediately it will be provided for extra gas, extra oil, extra energy in the times of war. It is about collective defense again. So NATO earlier had never seen Poland's such an active participation. Recently, advised by US President Trump, all the NATO countries have decided to increase their defense expenditure and make it 5% of their GDP. That's a universal policy with NATO. In fact, America has told Philippines to do the same to protect itself from China. But Poland has, even inside NATO, apart from this 5% GDP on defense, Poland has itself increased its defense expenditure too much. Poland is very scared of any upcoming attack by Russia. And ever since these surveillance drones are hanging over Poland, Poland is really, really scared. So therefore, it has decided to join this very famous Alliance fuel pipeline. The purpose of the pipeline is to get connected with the 10,000 kilometer gas and oil pipe that runs through NATO countries. Okay, it is known as NATO Pipeline Network System, NPS, NATO's Pipeline Network System. Although Poland is a part of NATO since 1999, but today it has decided to join the NPS, the pipeline network also. It will enable Poland more access to jet fuel, diesel, gasoline, lubricants in case a war ever happens, which might happen the way things are going. This alliance already covers nations like Belgium, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands. It stores about 4.1 million cubic meters. That's the capacity of the pipeline. So Poland anyway is investing more in its defense. Today it is joining this also. So that means several NATO countries are only getting prepared for upcoming attacks by Russia. Today Russia has done a major attack on Ukraine's gas reserves and we don't know the war will ever come to an end. It is difficult. If NATO countries are committing 5% of GDP to defense, Poland has already done it to 4%. One of the highest defense spending even among the NATO. Okay, so that is in the news therefore. And let's talking about how this impacts other NATO countries. Then if Poland also joins this pipeline, then it means that Poland will also come more close when it comes to its defense operations to countries like Russia and Belarus. Now, Belarus is a key friend and ally of Russia. Together, both of them had done the Zapad exercise recently, in which India was also observing. It was also participating. In fact, America was angry. He told India, why did you participate in the Zapad? Okay, so the eastern countries of NATO, including Poland, are now quite close to territorially to Belarus, and that is why they are also very afraid. So they are all trying to strengthen the eastern side of NATO countries to protect against Russia, and this move is in the same line. So now let's have a look at the question. Consider the following statements regarding Poland's accession to NATO's pipeline system. 1. Poland joined NATO in 1999 but has remained outside the pipeline system until today when it is planning to join it. 2. The NATO pipeline system is designed to transport fuel only for civil energy needs in Europe. 3. The planned pipeline from Germany to buy goods will improve NATO's logistical capabilities in its eastern flank, eastern territory. So which of these statements are correct? I'll quickly see the comments. Yeah, the Nobel Prize was discussed. Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree, Eric. So you thought absolutely correct, Vikash. You thought absolutely correct, my dear. You will come to know that you were absolutely right in thinking like that in the last slide. Okay, for this question. Okay, so Lenny, aspirant, Dishank, Akhtar, Ritika, Vikash are already answering and everyone says it's B, and so it is, absolutely. Second statement is incorrect because the pipeline will give energy, oil to military operations specially. So it is not only for civilian use, it is definitely for military use. Therefore, 1 and 3 are valid. And now the last article of the day. In India, we know that every year from October to January, in fact, even February, the Delhi NCR comes under an envelope of smog. That is extreme cold weather, creating foggy conditions, plus the air pollution, particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10, various kind of oxides like nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide. These create too much pollution. It is dangerous. It is causing diseases. So recently the Supreme Court had said that all the farmers in Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and NCR, those who are still burning the paddy stalks, the rice straws, should be punished. Because stubble burning after the Kharif season, what is Kharif season? The crop season of the summer monsoon month, the key crop being rice. This time, because too much rain happened, you saw how the Kharif production in India was quite high. It was bumper production. Too much paddy was produced. It elongated the paddy season also. But now is the time coming for harvest. As the rains are stopping and winters are coming, now the harvesting will be done. If harvesting will be done, then what happens? Farmers will burn all the stubble that is left over after paddy rice cultivation, and that is a major source of pollution. For whom? For the residents of NCR Delhi. It paralyzes flight operations, train operations, let alone the danger of disease that spreads. So Supreme Court last week said, let's just penalize and punish those farmers. But the government of India said, let's not do that. Farmers are the backbone of the economy. Some of them are doing stubble burning, not because they want to do it, but because they have no other choice also. In India, many farmers are medium small scale farmers. They lack the technology to dispose of the stubble. So why to punish them? An awareness campaign is going to be better. So today in the news once again is the same issue, as now the paddy harvesting season has come. September to November is the peak time for harvesting, and people will burn stubble. Stubble burning will happen. We know that. Every year it happens. The more soon you burn the stubble, the more soon you prepare for cultivating wheat. That's the rabi crop, the winter crop. Farmers can't waste time. They have to do it quickly. But if that happens, once again, particulate matter 2.5, very thin particles. Particulate matter 10, more coarse particles of pollution. Carbon monoxide, nitrogen, greenhouse gas will then once again cause toxicity to Delhi's air quality. So today, a center known as Commission for Air Quality Management, CAQM, a statutory body, a parliamentary body that has been created to regulate air pollution in NCR and nearby areas, has said, let's take quick measures to control pollution. One of the solutions will be, from October 1st onwards, district magistrates, deputy commissioners will be told in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and UP and Delhi to take a legal action against those junior officers who fail to enforce anti-pollution measures, whether it be vehicular, whether it be agricultural, whether it be factory, affluent, domestic, construction. If the lower level officers fail to implement anti-pollution control and monitoring, they will be punished. This is an order that has been issued to the administrative officers like district magistrates and deputy commissioners. Second, in Punjab right now, the main contribution is stubble burning. Punjab is majorly responsible for stubble burning. 95 cases of stubble burning happened this year. Okay, it is reducing now because last year it was 179, but still the contribution is quite a lot. But the good thing is, if you compare it with the data of last 6 years, at least it is coming down. From 300-400 cases, it is finally coming to 95 cases of stubble burning in 2025, which is a good, welcome step. So we need to maintain this tempo, which means more people are now abiding by the law. At the same time, during the paddy harvest season, the main problem we know happens to be stubble burning. So today, IARI, the institute in India, will also be tracking the stubble burning more closely in much more strong way. Ultimately, the solution is to empower the farmers, give them more access to mechanical, electric disposers, rather than just telling them that stop burning, because they are also in a hurry. They don't get much time. They have to sow the wheat crops. So create awareness, help and support them through mechanization rather than punishing. Punishment is not the solution here really. Now the last article, nations must prepare to deal with stable coins. This is what our finance minister, Miss Nirmala Sitharaman, has said yesterday. This is the front page article, page number 1, GS paper 3, Indian economy, cryptocurrency. Across the world, various nations are now using cryptocurrency. This is the newest form of trading across the world. Although in India, It is not accepted widely by the people. The government also doesn't have a proper monitoring protocol on that. It is not considered legal by various government agencies. But India also needs to now follow the path of the world. If we have to participate in the global market, we need to understand that we have to maintain some kind of cryptocurrency or a crypto asset. The finance minister says a good solution is to create a stable coin. A stable coin is a much better form of cryptocurrency. We need it because we cannot afford to run away from modern developments. If we need to participate in the global economy, we have to change ourselves also. So, therefore, here the question is about how will India transition towards cryptocurrency, especially the stable coin currency. It is now becoming popular across the world. India also has to go for it. Yes, order absolutely to promote more capital inflows, to provide more investment opportunities. What is a stable coin? So, a stable coin is a kind of currency in which the government fixes a certain kind of amount. It is a type of cryptocurrency which has a stable value because it is either dependent upon multiple currencies like the dollar, euro, INR, or its value is pegged to metals like gold. Stable value. It doesn't fluctuate too much. That's a stable coin. So, unlike other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, this stable coin doesn't have too much volatility, it doesn't fluctuate too much. You can make predictable decisions and transaction based on that. So it is very suitable for trade, very suitable for FDI, very suitable for foreign remittances of Indian money and capital inflows as order is saying. So India now has understood that although we do not fully recognize private cryptocurrency because there is a high risk of fraud, cybercrime, money laundering, volatility, fluctuation, but now is the time as the world is changing, we also have to change. So a better solution is stablecoin because innovation is the need of the hour. We cannot miss the global opportunities in finance and fintech area. So current approach in India, private cryptocurrencies are not completely legal, but they are under taxation. Reserve Bank of India wants strict regulation on them or completely banning them, but banning is not a solution in the long term. It leads to more money laundering. So, therefore, central bank digital currency. RBI in India, the Central Bank of India, is now trying to create its own model, its own digital currency, which is very safe also, and that has government approval. And this can be the new stable coin. Stable coin, as we saw, has a fixed value. It doesn't fluctuate so much. It is recognized by the RBI, by the Indian government. So the prospect of money laundering and frauds don't arise. So now India has to create that kind of digital currency, even if it's coming from government support like stablecoin, it's okay. But we have to create. Otherwise, we'll miss out on competition in this evolving global financial market. That's all for today's articles. Here are all the answers. You can verify your answers. If you enjoy this session, please like, share, and subscribe us. If you have any suggestion to make, please feel free to share it with me. If you want to say anything to me regarding any topic that you like, anything you want me to discuss, any other input that you want that could help your exam, that could make the session more engaging for you, any other quiz, any other topic for group discussion, absolutely your suggestions are more than welcome. Let's create such a forum that is not only about knowledge and information, but it gives us an opportunity to study together, discuss with each other, to evolve together, to make it such an interesting platform that we all love discussing these issues and learn how to interpret them also. So I need your support in that. You can let me know everything that we can do in that direction. Thank you so much, each one of you, for being a part of this lovely session. Okay, as always, it was wonderful experience for me and I hope the same for you. Thank you. Case studies. Okay, order says we can discuss more case studies from ethics. Yes, we can. Actually, we should. Because if you see most of the platforms, they only discuss prelims or mains question. That's a very static approach. But definitely, as you're saying, dear, if we use case studies, we will understand the issues better. We will also learn how to handle such cases better. Our own interpretation develops. That's a great idea. Definitely, we can work on that. Wonderful suggestion. Okay, Lenny. Okay, Abhishek, aspirant, order, Vikash, everyone out there, Ritika. I'll see you tomorrow with another session.